this book. The Study of Counterpoint by Johann Joseph Fux is one of the most influential and certainly the most widely read music textbook in history, and amongst the thousands of students that have used it over the years, there's some very notable names. There's Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms, me. Why? Why do they all use this book? Well, it was really the first book of its kind. It aimed to take a student from a complete novice to a master of counterpoint by the end of it. Counterpoint is a notoriously difficult subject to teach, let alone to learn by oneself. So to have a book that can take you the entire way through is really an invaluable addition to the musical lives of all of us. So I figured I would make a video series going through the entire book, so I can take you, along with me, from a complete worthless baby of counterpoint to a worthy adult of counterpoint. It's gonna take me a while. Question: why study counterpoint? 1. I don't know. You probably should be doing something different. I don't know. Study AI, I guess? 2. Counterpoint is hard. You're not just gonna learn it magically. 3. You'll compose better. Composing multiple melodies that evolve over time and harmonize well with each other is just more interesting than having a stupid block of chords and a melody. 4. You'll start listening better. You can actually start to love Bach instead of just saying you love Bach because you feel like you have to say that. 5. And most importantly, good counterpoint just sounds nice. Bad counterpoint just sounds like shit. Now, why use this book? Oh, by the way, from now on I'm just going to call it the Fux. And importantly, that's the pronunciation. Well, 1, it's just cool to study from the same book that so many wonderful composers have studied from. Also, it's modal, not just major or minor, so it actually teaches you how to grapple with the different modes. It takes you through all of the Greek modes, except Locrian. Nobody cares about you. Nobody ever will care about you, Locrian. It's progressive. As I already explained, it aims to take the student from a novice to a master by the end of it, and the way it does this is using what he calls species, and it's now kind of just become the accepted term. It's a strange word for it, but really what it is the first species, one note against one note. It's usually written with whole notes, so one whole note to every one whole note. Second species, 2 half notes to every whole note. Third species, 4 quarter notes to every whole note. Fourth species, suspensions. They're also called ligatures. And the fifth species, florid counterpoint, which is just a combination of all the previous species. And then you go through that with 2 voices at first, and then with 3 voices, and then finally to 4 voices. It's very strict, and that's actually good for you. If you can learn how to create beautiful music in this style, well then once you kind of take the handcuffs off a little bit, your music is just going to be much more interesting. This is essentially counterpoint in the era of Palestrina, so very, very strict counterpoint, but it's just good to learn that way. Now, although it's very strict, it's also all about the ear. If there's a valid musical reason for doing something, you can do it. Fuchs, throughout the entire book, is very clear about that. It's short. It's also just very clearly written. The whole thing, aside from the introduction, is written in the form of a Socratic dialogue in between the student and the teacher. Here's a little excerpt. Why am I not wearing glasses?
Because you're a student, man.
Nor do the difficulties of the work discourage me, and I hope that with the help...
I am delighted to have found just such a young student as I
Therefore, I think I no longer have reason to doubt my inclination, nor that it did... Please, say what it is, revered master.
Perhaps the hope... Perhaps the hope on... Perhaps the... Well... Full level.
For word. Oh, so close.
And about four.
Just a couple things you will need before embarking on this journey. 1. You should have at least one functioning ear. If you don't have that, buy one. You need to understand consonance and dissonance. So very quickly, the consonances, the octave, the fifth, the major third, the major sixth, the minor third, the minor sixth, and the unison. Dissonances. Minor and major second, minor and major seventh, and the tritone. And finally, the age-old question, befuddling humanity since the dawn of time. Is the fourth a dissonance or a consonance? If the fourth is between the upper voices, Fux calls it a consonant, and if it's between the bass and any other voice, it's a dissonance. So in two-part counterpoint, no, you cannot use a fourth. In three-part counterpoint, yes, you can, but we will talk about that. You'll also need to understand the different types of contrapuntal motion. We have direct motion, where both voices move in the same direction. We have oblique motion, where one voice stays the same and the other voice moves either up or down. And third, contrary motion, where both move in opposite directions. And you need to know what a cantus firmus is. It's just the melody they give you. You can't change it, that's cheating, obviously. Now, a couple caveats. Although, like I said, it's very clearly written, there are some things which might just look a bit strange to read if you're not used to Renaissance theory. So, some questions. What the f*** is a hexachord? Answer. Doesn't matter. Who cares? It's this old, bafflingly complicated theoretical concept. Basically, what you need to know is when they start talking about mi versus fa, or mi against fa, or mi contra fa, it just means the tritone. I know it's complicated because mi is usually like E and fa is usually F, but no, just don't worry about it. Mi, fa is tritone. Avoid it. Question. Do better books exist? Answer. Yeah, probably. But they're all tonal instead of modal, and they're very long, and also, like, if the great composers use these books, you should too. Do you think you're better than Brahms? Okay, so now, first species of counterpoint.